Good afternoon, everyone. What is this? I don't know. Good morning, ma'am. Good afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon, my dear students. My name is Poonam Huvekar. So today onwards, in 8th standard, I'm going to teach you history part. Okay, I'm going to teach you history part, and whatever the doubts you have regarding my teaching, or after miss when the class will finish, before that 10 minutes I'll give you the time. So whatever the doubts you have, you can discuss later, but please, when I start to teach, in between don't talk. Okay, got it? Get it, everyone? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, can you see the
Yes, ma'am.
screen? Can you see the screen? Huh? Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. Yes. Okay. Now, today I'm going to teach you the revolt of 1857. In this lesson, you are going to learn causes of the revolt of 1857, the reason behind the 1857 revolt. Second one, the outbreak and spread of the revolt, how it spreaded all over the India. That you are going to learn how, what was the reason,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
suppression of the revolt, how the revolt was suppressed by the Britishers. It was how the suppressed by the Britishers. Then third, fourth one, the causes for failure of the revolt. The revolt was not successful. It was failed. Why it was failed? So those reasons you are going to learn next. And then the result of revolts. So the after revolt, what happened? The what will be the results? So that you are going to learn one by one. So first, before going to the lesson, here I want to mention the, you can see in the history maker in the box, page number 47. You can see the box has given, here they have written history maker, and see the last emperor, Abul Zafar, Sirajuddin Muhammad Bahadur Shah Zafar. Otherwise, you can call Bahadur Shah second. Okay, no need to write this, tell all full name. You can say Bahadur Shah second was the, he was the last Mughal emperor. After him, his children, they did not get the title of emperor. They were called a princess, but they were not allowed to take the title emperor. So that's why the Bahadur Shah II was the last Mughal emperor. So whenever in the exam, if I ask you who was the last emperor of Delhi, that time you have to Mughal emperor, in a Mughal, who was the last emperor. That time you have to answer Bahadur Shah II. Okay, so he was born in the year 1775. Just underline, he was born in the year 1775, and then, and he was participate in the revolt. He was in the 1857 revolt, he was participated, and even he had written many poems. So those poetries already it was destroyed during the revolt 1857, but some of them we can get it in the Kuliyat e Zafar. It is given last line, Kuliyat e Zafar, please underline. So here we can get some of the poetries written by Bahadur Shah II. So after this, we'll go to next page. Here, the revolt of 1857 and 58, you can see on the screen. Okay, so it was actually, this revolt was called actually this revolt was called a Sepoy Mutiny. Sepoy Mutiny, otherwise we can call the first war of independence. There are two names for this revolt. One is Sepoy Mutiny, or you can call the first war of independence. So in especially those names, the Indian historians, those who study regarding history, no, they were called historians. They are called. Okay, so those Indian historians, they for this revolt they called the first war of independence. Indian historians, they called first war of independence for this revolt. But according to the British historians, so the during that time the Britishers were there. So in that the some of them British historians, what they called, they called a Sepoy mutiny. Sepoy mutiny they called, because they felt that in this revolt, sepoys, the soldiers played a very important role, and because of the sepoys this revolt spreaded all over the India.
What is the meaning of sepoy?
Sipai means soldiers. Sipai in Hindi word it is, Sipai in Hindi we call Sipai, So in the English, Sipai mutiny means revolt, mutiny. That was
Yes,
called,
ma'am.
that was called by British historians, but Indian historians called First War of Independence. Okay, so now we'll go to this. Actually, who all participated in this war? So we can see in that war many of them, like zamindars, rulers, and common people, and all the common people. Yes, all common people, soldiers, zamindars, rulers, everyone they participated in this revolt. Okay, that's why this revolt called a First War of Independence. Okay, everyone, all the Indian people, common people also participated in this revolt. That's why it is called a First War of Independence. Peasants means soldiers. Okay, next we go to even the tribal people, even the beginning. Why? Actually, the revolt. Why the people revolt? There is, see, one example I want to give. In your house, if someone, as like a relatives, if someone comes to your house, they stay in your house, and slowly, what they will do? They'll start to interfere in your family matters. Can you bear those things?
No, ma'am.
No. In your family, if someone comes as like a relative or some outsider person, they come and they stay in your house, and slowly after 2 days, 4 days after, they start to interfere in your family matters. Can you bear those things? No, right?
No, ma'am.
No, you can't bear. Suddenly what you will do, you start to fight against them, you start to quarrel, you'll force them to go out of the house, right? So same thing happened in India. So britishers, they are, originally they are not from India, they had come from Britain. Okay, they are from other country, but what happened, they came to India, and they had a first beginning, they wanted to do the this they wanted to set up the colonial this. So that's why for the merchant, as a merchant they entered. They were like merchants. They entered and they said, huh? What happened?
Ma'am, I said traders.
Yes, they came and they set up their colonies, and they started their factories and all. First time they took permissions from Mughal emperor. They took permission. They started their factories. But slowly, Britishers, what they did, they started to interfere in these kings matters. So, this king's matter, slowly they started to interfere in the king's matters, the administration and all. So this way, slowly they interfered, and slowly what happened, they started to introduce the different type of laws, and slowly started to occupy the territories of India, and slowly they defeated the many rulers. So this way what happened, after lastly in 19th century, they totally they occupied, by cheating they occupied the Indian territories. So that's why what happened, many of the rulers, the zamindars and common peoples, they suffered a lot because of this bearing. They tolerated, and lastly in 1857, what happened, there was a huge big blast. There was a big blast in Indian people, and that blast called the revolt of 1857 and 58. Okay, this much you understood?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going fast, or is it okay?
Ma'am, okay.
Okay. Yes. Now, in the what happened? This Britishers. There are many reasons. There are many reasons for this revolt. So that we are going to learn one by one. Here, the causes for the uprising. The causes. What are the reasons behind this revolt of 1857? So first one is the causes of in that. First one is political causes. So political causes in that. Mm, Yeah, there are many reasons: political causes, economic reasons, social factors, religious factors, military factors, and immediate causes. So these all are reasons behind the cause, first, sorry, the revolt of 1857. So that we are going to learn one by one. Here, the Britishers, they introduced different laws. So first one is subsidiary alliance, and second one is doctrine of lapse. Maybe you know about subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. Do you know or
Yes,
not?
ma'am.
Yeah. Will
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
Anyone? Can you tell what is the meaning of subsidiary alliance?
Ma'am, in subsidiary alliance,
Mhm.
in subsidiary alliance, the rulers who accepted
Mhm.
it had to disband their army and keep British forces within their
Yeah.
kingdom.
Yes. Very good. Again.
They had to pay for the British forces,
Yeah.
and the British were
Hmm.
support them in any wars or dangers.
Okay. Very good.
If the rulers weren't able to pay the cost, a piece of land was ceded by the British as the penalty.
Yes. Very good. Very good. And anyone? Can you explain about doctrine of lapse?
It was an annexation policy.
Hmm. Yes. Whoever ruler, they not had. Yes.
When the rulers got their natural male hire,
Huh.
if they wanted to adopt a hire, they would have to take
Yes.
permission.
Yeah.
The can all be done.
Very good. That rulers, they if they don't have their own children, that time they should take a they were take means they should ask permission from the Britishers. So that kind of policy was introduced by Lord Dalhousie, and the subsidiary alliance was introduced by Wellesley. So these two laws, because of these two laws, kings, the rulers, they got angry. They did not like this subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. Because of the subsidiary alliance, the many rulers, they lost their freedom. They lost their freedom. They lost their means. They not had they means they did not get the take up decisions. Okay, all the decisions were taken by the Britishers, and even they should not they were not they should not keep any good relations with other rulers. That was all condition. Because of these conditions, those rulers, they lost all the powers. Okay, all the powers. That's why what happened, they were not satisfied. And in doctrine of lapse, because of the they means they not had their own children, and even if they wanted to adopt, for that also they should take the permissions from the Britishers. So this, because of this, some of the example like the Rani Lakshmi Bai. So what she did, she went against the Britishers, and she did not like that law, and she went against the Britishers. And that's why what happened, there was a yes, many of the rulers, they were not satisfied because of these two laws introduced by the Britishers. And secondly, the most of the recruits of the Bengal army came from Awadh. In Bengal, what happened, there are totally three provinces. Okay, three presidencies, sorry. So Mumbai, Madras, and Bengal presidency. Mumbai and Bengal, they had their own armies, presidencies. Okay, they set up more three centers. Okay, in India, one is in Madras, one is in Mumbai, uh, Bombay presidency, and another one's in Bengal presidency. But the Bengal, they not had their own army, so that's why they were taking means they were taking help from the Awadh. If they wanted soldiers, they were recruiting the Awadh soldiers. So for that, they were paid. Okay, Awadh soldiers were paid by the Bengal Britishers. So this was the reason, and because of this, the Bengal soldiers, the Bengal people, this they were not satisfied. The Bengal soldiers, they were not satisfied. And then the Nana Sahib, he was the son of Peshwa second, Peshwa second. He was the son of Peshwa second, and the Peshwa. He not had his own children. The Nana Sahib was the adopted son actually. Nana Sahib was the adopted son, and the Peshwa, he adopted him. And but what happened? He was adopted son. That's why the Britishers, they, according to the doctrine of lapse, they not allowed a Peshwa Bajirao II to run the this government, run the administration. They snatched from him, and they not given pension to Nana Sahib. Pension was denied. Pension was denied by Nana by Britishers, and they not give pension to Nana Sahib because he was the adopted son. So that's why what happened, and he was forced to move to Kanpur. Actually, he was in Pune, but he was forced to Kanpur. That's why the Nana Sahib was not satisfied. And then Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar, he was the last Mughal emperor. Benin itself, you learnt about him. He was the last emperor, and after the death of Bahadur Shah, they were other his successors were not allowed to use the title of emperor. His successors, and another one reason they were forced to leave the Red Fort. So before they were living in Red Fort, but what happened? The Britishers, they ordered that not to put the title, not to use the title of emperor, and they were removed from the Red Fort. So because of these reasons, even the Bahadur Shah's successors and all, they were not happy with these all. Okay, so these were not happy. So this is the reason that Mughals were happy, and even we can see the Awadh. So Awadh also, the Dalhousie, he annexed the Awadh from the Wajid Ali Shah. So this is also the reason behind the political factors. This must did you understand? Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Understood? No, this much?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, and another one, sorry, I want to tell another one fact that in the actually when the Britishers started to this rule the means India, so that way they introduced this English education and all, and because of that, and even courts also they the rules regulations all before it was in Persian language. So that's why common people were understanding Persian language. But what happened when Britishers started to rule, suddenly they changed the language. From Persia to English, all the rules, regulations, and all, they made it in English. So that's why what happened, the common people, the common farmers and all, it was very difficult to understand the rules. It was in English. So that's why what happened, the Indian people, they were not literate in English language. That's why they felt very difficult to understand the laws and all. And it was and even and what happened, even the court, they treated all the persons equally, like a zamindar and farmers, they both were treated equally. Means if zamindar wanted to like if farmer he's cheated by the zamindar, then farmer can go to court. But what happened, because of the costly that all procedure, they did not get proper justice and all. And even the zamindars also unsatisfied because of the introduction of all the rules regulations in English language. So even this is also one of the reason it comes in political factor. Now we will go to economic factors. Economic factors. Now that this revenue policy is introduced, which was extracted maximum land revenue. Land revenue means taxes. So common people, see, after the occupying, the annexing the Awadh, like Awadh and other this the kingdoms and the territories and annexed by the Britishers, and directly after occupying the territories, they were started to collect the taxes from the farmers, and they were really very harsh to them. They were like they were maximum taxes they were collecting from the farmers, and by force they were collecting. And if the farmer failed to pay the tax, that time he was like his property, they were selling it, and whatever the money comes from the selling the property, that they were taking as a tax. So this way what happened, the farmers, they lost their means they were because of that they were not able to pay the taxes and all, they lost their this land, and they become poor and poor. And even there were many reasons because of floods and all. This because of that they were faced a lot of problems to pay the taxes to the Britishers and as well as zamindars. Even zamindars also were collecting, and they were like greedy people. Zamindars, what they were doing, they started to collect more taxes from the farmers, and this whatever the means taxes they were collecting, in that little part they were keeping with them, and remaining part they were paying as a tax to the Britishers. But middle, that zamindars were misusing, and they were collecting more tax from the farmers, because they did a harassment on the farmers. So this way what happened, the common people, the common farmers as well as they suffered. And lastly what happened, the Britishers, when they saw that this zamindari systems, it is not effect positively, it is like because of the zamindari system, even the farmers, they are not means they were failed to pay the taxes. That's why what happened, they cancelled, they removed the zamindari system, and even they started to take taxes from zamindars also. So this way what happened, even the zamindars also not satisfied by the Britishers. Even zamindars also got angry on Britishers. Okay, even farmers, common peoples, and zamindars, all they were like a failed to pay the taxes. This was the reason. And second, British colony expansion. Britishers, they wanted to expand their territories. That's why they introduced that laws, subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. Those expansion, because they had an intention, they wanted to expand their territories. That's why what they did, they introduced the laws, subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. And from that they slowly they occupied, and they occupied the Indian territories. So you can tell, you know about the Plassey War? Do you know about the Plassey War?
Yes,
Sirajuddaulah.
ma'am. Battle of Plassey.
Yeah, Battle of Plassey. Yeah. So maybe you know how the Britishers cheated, and some, and even some the ministers, they were worked under Sirajuddaulah. Even they also cheated his king, and they gave a support to Britishers. Because of this, what happened? The Britishers, they used their cunning, and they were very cunning, and with the help of cheating, just they cheated the peoples, and they started to expand their territories. Now, industrial revolution. Industrial revolution means in the England, actually their motherland, there were many, they invented many machines. Okay, big machines and all. It was 1820 actually, till 1820 it started the industrial revolution. And they, in that motherland in Britain, they started to invent the new type of machines, and they set up industries and all. And even they, I mean, different type of machines and all, and they set up industries. And see, to run the industry they want a raw material. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, to run the industry they want raw materials. Like example, if you want to make a cotton dress, for that we require cotton also, cotton and all. Okay, and if you want to make a sugar, for that we want a sugar cane.
Sugarcane.
Yes, the industry purchase the sugar cane, and they will send will they transport it in the industry. And the industry, what they will do, they will use the raw material, and they'll make a finished goods, and that they will send they will transfer it to the markets, and they'll sell. So here what happened, they wanted, Britishers wanted a raw material. So that's why what happened, they here in India, whatever the cotton, actually the this eastern part and western, this eastern part, Bengal and all this side, the cotton, this the people were growing the cotton. Is that actually half of the place went in now Bangladesh. Okay, there the cotton is highly, they grow the cotton, but that nowadays is presently it went in Bangladesh. But during time, that cotton and all, they were purchasing from the farmers, and in the very low price, they were paying very less price, and that cotton they were exporting to their motherland. Okay, this way many things they forced farmers to grow, and they were paid a very less money, and that was by force that they were taking, and they were sending it to the motherland, Britain. So that's why what happened, the people, the farmers, they did not get any benefits from that agriculture, whatever they were growing, because of the pressure, under the pressure of Britishers they were growing. But instead of that, they did not get any any benefits. And because of this, what happened, there was a lot of competitions between the Britain and the Indian this Indian businessman. And the raw material whatever they were sending it to the motherland, there they were making in the industries, and there they were making of finished goods, whatever the things they were, again they were selling it to the Indian markets. Again that finished goods they were taking,
Ma'am,
and what happened,
like this.
huh?
Ma'am, at very high prices, they were selling mine.
Yes, and even the quality also good because that is made in the industries. You know, you one example I want to give. If you stitch your mother, maybe they stitches sweaters for you all in the hand. Means mother, she'll stitch a sweater by hand, and that compare with that and the whatever the other sweaters when you if it is made by machine, that sweater and handmade sweater, if whenever you compare, which quality you will feel, means which one you like to wear?
And machinery.
Machine made, yes. So whichever products were they means whichever the products were made by in the industries, that was they were sold in very less price, and the quality also was good. Okay, so the Britishes whatever the things they sold, that was very less price and the quality also good. But Indians, what happened, the Indians in India, there were no industries, there were no machines and all. So people were dependent on the cottage industries. You know the difference between cottage and large scale industries? Hello? Do you know the difference between cottage and large scale industries?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. So cottage industry means whatever the things they were the person makes in the house, that those calls a cottage industry. Cottage means house. Cottage means house. Whatever things we prepare and make in the house, that is called a cottage industry. Okay, like example, like a pickle industry, so small like a carpentry and all, making this with the cotton shawls, like that all sari and will make, no. So that some people they make a saris and all that. This is called a that is called a cottage industry. They make it in the house, so that is called a cottage industry. And whatever things done in the make in the industries, that is called that is called a large scale industry. Large means big industries, big industries, and cottage means small it is. So what happened, there was a huge competition between the British, whatever the British brought the things to India. There was a huge competition between Britishes and British merchants and Indian merchants. But the Indian merchants, they were not able to compete them. Okay, and whatever the Indian merchants, they wanted to sell to their motherland, okay, their country. That time the government, that government, they imposed high taxes on the imports, high taxes. Do you know that import export taxes? So whenever actually nowadays presently you can see, if anything comes from the America, even the government also put some taxes on that, right? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. And when our Indian material, if and Indian goods will go to other country, those country also they put some taxes. They'll put some taxes on our goods. You know that all. But in the during British's time, what happened? See, whenever the Britishes, whatever the British merchants they were bringing it to India, that on them there was no taxes. There was no taxes. But Indian merchants, if the Indian merchants wanted to sell something in the in Britain, they were paid a heavy taxes on them. The government, British government, they were imposing heavy taxes on the Indian merchants. Because of this, the Indian merchants, they were not able to compete the British merchants. That was the reason what many of the Indian merchants, they got a lot of huge losses. And because of losses and all, the poor people, they become a very poor, and most of the people they died in hunger. They died in hunger. That kind of very like a horrible situation it was to the Indian merchants. They got lost, lot of loss, and they were unable to get a food also. That kind of situation faced by the Indian common people. So because of this, this is also one of the economic factor behind the revolt of 1857. Now we go to social factors. So this political and economic, do you understand? Did you understand these two factors?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then okay. Now we will go to next part. Next it is social factors. Social. So the social means only will understand. Like the Britishers, they actually they never tried to become a part of Indian society. Britishers, they never tried to become a part of Indian society. Always they were like they were like thinking that it is a colony. It means they did not think that this is India is a part of them. Just they had a discrimination, lot of discrimination they were doing. Okay, the Indian people, they were discriminating the Indian peoples. They were thinking as a low, and they were calling as uncultured people. Okay, so Hindus and all, they were thinking that these Indian peoples are uncultured peoples. Like that way they were thinking, and they were treating very low to Indian people. And in the administration also, so some people, some Indian people, during that time they were educated, very educated. Even some of them, the rich people, they went to out of the country England, and they studied there. For they studied and they came back. But for such people, those who are illiterate people, no, they did not get a good post in the administration. Okay, they did not get good post in offices, British offices. Okay, who only the British officers, they were getting the highest rank, and even they were getting good salary also, highest salary. But the Indians, they did not get a highest post, as well as they did not get respect. They were getting very less salary. Okay, if think that Indians getting only the 1%, but the Britishers were getting 8% higher than this Indian persons. So this way, there was a lot of gap between salary also. Indian peoples were less, and the British officers were getting highest rank, respect, and as well as salary also more. Okay, this kind of discrimination was the another reason, and we can tell. And then racial discrimination, even the discrimination, like I told, discrimination, bhedbhav, same thing. Okay, Indians, they did not like Indians. They were means they were respecting only the British officers, British ladies. Introduction of Western education. Here the Western education now, through this British sorry the Western education they introduced. And Western education means English education. So because of this, they set up, they founded many colleges, school colleges. But what happened, the Indian people, they did not like Western education. They like Indian people were orthodox type. Indian people were like orthodox. They were believing that they were like they had a negative thinking about the Western education. People were thinking that if our the Indian people, Indian children or Indian young people, if they get education, Western education, they'll spoil. They'll spoil, and they'll become like a Britishers. They'll forget their culture, laws, and moral values. Everything they forget, and they'll become like a Britishers. So such kind of mentality the Indian people had, and that's why what happened. The Indian people, they did not like Western education. Now also, presently also, we can see the almost all the people, all the citizen and all, they like to follow Western education. Like some people, they don't like saris, okay, kurtas. They, even girls also wear jeans, and especially some, the torn jeans, all there's some, they'll purposefully they'll tear it, and they'll wear the jeans. That all this Western culture, actually this is not a Indian culture. You can see presently also. Is I'm wrong or correct?
I'm correct.
Correct, now. See, now people, actually during olden periods, olden people always they say, eat healthy food, whatever prepares in the house, eat that one. The foreign things are not good, like but nowadays children, they like burger, Chinese food, okay, so Italian food and all. They don't like Indian food. Actually, Indian, whichever things prepared in the house, that is really good and healthy. If you eat burger, noodles and all, your health will get a spoil. So that's why what happened, the Western education, Western culture, the people had, Indian people were not like Western education. They thought that our children will spoil if they learn Western education, they'll spoil, they'll become like a Britishes. So that's why they did not like Western education. But some of them, they had a good thing like a Western education. Even it has helped positively to the on the Indian people. Example like many, most of them, they studied Western education. They went outside of the country. They studied and came to know that what is happening in their country, what is happening in our country. And that's why what happened, slowly those people, they came back to India and they aware the peoples regarding freedom. They told, this is our country, this is motherland of this is our motherland. And the Britishers, they are not from our country. We should reward them. We should remove them. We should remove them from our country, and we should make our country free. So such kind of mentality, such kind of ideas, they got because of the Western education. Because of many of them went out of the country and they studied those ideas, and they came and they implemented here. They aware the people. Okay, they told that this is Britishers are ruling us. Actually, Britishers should go outside, and that's why lastly in 1947 we got a freedom, because the people, many educated peoples, they involved themselves in the this social this freedom movements, and they successfully, they removed, they took a back motherland from the hands of Britishers. Okay, the Western education, it is really helpful, but also the some Orthodox people were thinking negatively about that. Okay, that is also correct. We can't say that whatever the thing the Orthodox people had, that also not wrong, but it was good also. Because of the Western education, Indian people, they learned, they got ideas from other countries. Then abolition of sati system and child marriage. Olden time, the during the when the baby, newly born baby, they were doing marriages. Newly born babies, marriages they were doing. And sometime in the early age, very early age, they were losing their husband all. So such kind of things were practiced. Sati system, do you know the meaning of sati system?
No, ma'am.
Sati system,
No,
you don't
ma'am.
know. Okay, sati system means what? If the husband dies, okay, with the husband, even the wife also should die. That was practiced. Okay, that husband, they were keeping in the means in that fire. Even the lady should jump, and she should end her life with the husband. So that system was practiced. Okay, that system was practiced. That system was practiced, and that was called a sati system. That was called sati system. Just a minute. Abolition of sati system. So in what happened in 1928, this uh, Arya Samaj. Okay, in Arya Samaj, what happened? The sati system was abolished, and William Penting in 1928, he also helped Arya Samaj, Brahma Samaj. Okay, Brahma Samaj, and they what happened? The Britishers, they abolished the sati system and child marriage. And because of they abolished sati system and child marriage, even the Britishers and Indian social reformers, they also wanted to abolish sati system and child marriage. But the Orthodox people, they were there in the society, said they did not like this, that these abolitions they did not like. Okay, they okay, and because of this, huh? Hello.
Ma'am, it's only.
Hmm? Can you hear me clearly?
Ma'am, meaning of abolish.
Abolish means cancelled. Okay, that was removed by government.
Okay, ma'am.
Sati system was cancelled. They didn't. No one should follow the sati system. Okay, and child marriage, that was not allowed by the British government. Okay, they brought a law on this. So because of this, the Britishers brought a law on sati system and child marriage. So totally they cancelled these two systems. And if whoever they were practicing this, they were punished by the British government, like according to government. So this is what the common people did not like. Okay, they thought that the Britishers entering in their personal issues, personal matters, in their religious matters. So because of this, what happened? The people did not like, and this is also one of the reason behind the revolt. They did not like Britishers, whatever. They were thinking that this is our matter. Why the Britishers entering? But the Britishers wanted that these two systems are totally wrong. Okay, and now present it is not there. Sati system and child marriage is presently it is not there. If anyone presently, if anyone practice these things, what will happen? What will be the result? Yes, what will happen if anyone do this? If anyone follow Sati system or child marriage, what will happen? Whoever involves in child
They
marriage and Sati system, no, they will be caught by police and they will sit in the police station. Okay, they'll get so this
and
they'll
put
punished
in
by the
jail
government. Hmm? Okay, then
and
introduction
put
of
in jail.
what happened? They'll put in jail. Yes, the introduction of widow remarriage. Even the social formers and as well as the Britishers supported them to introduce the widow remarriage. Widow, vidva, vivaha, vidva. So whoever they become widow. So vid, widow means vidva vivaha. Vivaha. What happened? Your voice is not clear. Just 5 minutes. Give 5 minutes. After this, I will tell you. Okay, I'll clear your doubts. Widow remarriage means whoever they lost their husbands. Okay, so those ladies were not had a respect in the society. They were not allowed to participate in any functions. Okay, like any functions, very good functions and all. The widows were not allowed. They were treated very badly in the society. They're not allowed. They were staying in one room, and in Brahmins, no, it was really horrible conditions. It was like their hair they were removing all the hair, and they should not do any this means they can't wear any green sari or color sari. They have to wear white color. They should not put bindi on the forehead. So this kind of many this, and they were treated very badly. Even they were not allowed to eat a good thing, means good food. Okay, simple food they have to eat. Such kind of very strict rules were there during the olden time. But this what happened? The social reformers as well as Britishers, they what they did, they supported the widow remarriage. Okay, so even one of the reformer, he married widow. So this way what happened, they supported the widow remarriage, and because of this the orthodox people, they were totally like they were angry and on the Britishers. So this is also one of the reason that we can tell that this is also the reason. Because of this the common people also participated very they participated and they supported the 1857 revolt. Okay, now whatever today I have taught you till social reforms, do you have any doubts in this?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No doubts. Okay, so it is clear to you all. Okay, okay, the remaining things that we will continue in the next class. And if you have any doubts, please this send the doubts. You send it in the doubt section. I'll clear it. Now there is no queries, no, everyone.
No, ma'am. No queries.
Okay, okay then. See you. Bye. We'll meet in next class.
Bye, ma'am. Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
ma'am.
Okay, bye.
Ma'am,
Oh, what happened?
ma'am,
Hmm?
ma'am, the British was not accepting as India their country. Then, ma'am, why they stopped the sati system and they supported the widow marriage?
Because there was many means some officers were very good, like a William Bentinck. Actually all were not bad. Britishers, all the Britishers were not bad. Only one few the Britishers were very good. They supported the social reformers, and they had a good relations, and they supported social reformers in India. Okay, like example like a William Bentinck, he supported Western education as well as he supported the social reformers to abolish the sati system, child marriage, and support the widow remarriage. So this way, some good people they supported. Not all were bad. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then
Thank
bye
you,
all of you.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.